Hello and welcome to We Never Met, the podcast where I have an interesting stranger on every single week. And this week we have Amanda Huff. You almost introduced yourself.
That was.
You know, sometimes I don't know how to say people's names because it's like really a complicated last name or something. But yours is really easy. So I could do it. But sometimes I defer to them because it's like I don't want to slaughter your last name. The first interaction we have is like me just doing the most basic thing wrong. But no, you're off of a 2-show night. You did 2 shows last night.
Yes, I did.
And they were kind of very different, weren't they?
Yeah, they were super different, which is the only reason I agreed to do them. But
right.
So I did a live scoring event at the Oriental.
So what did that entail? Like what is live scoring, I guess?
So like when you see a film and there's the music behind it, that's the film score.
Yeah.
And for this event, they had a lot of old silent films that they had restored and in their possession. So they were like, okay, let's give them to some Milwaukee musicians and see.
That's cool.
Yeah, kind of what they do with them. So I got to take a silent film and compose the music that went behind it. And then I had some of my band come and perform it live with me.
So you got to write that before, though. It wasn't like, we're not going to tell you what film it is. And then you got to come here and then like improv it, essentially.
No, there was a little bit of improv, but the guys that I was working with, we all played together in a jazz septet. So some level of improv is already kind of built into how we communicate.
So you play a ton of instruments, I'm assuming, right?
No, I'm horrible at instruments.
You play the ukulele, I know that for sure. I play the ukulele as well, but poorly.
I dabble in the ukulele.
It's a good instrument to dabble in because it's really easy to learn.
Right.
Yeah.
Super easy to learn, very easy to take around with you.
Yeah.
No, I'm like really good at composing, but a lot of times it's like with my voice. Like when I wrote for this piece, I wrote all the different parts with my voice and then had my bandmate just transcribe it for the other instruments.
Oh, okay.
Or when I do film scores on my own, I've got like a MIDI keyboard at home, but it's multiple layers because I can't I'm not quite nimble.
Okay, I got you. Piano is one of those things that I wish I would have learned, though, because that seems to me, guitar is hard because it's like you got to switch right away. You got to switch chords and you got to like make it seamless. Whereas piano, you can make it kind of sound like, you're supposed to, like, Ben Folds.
Yeah.
Like that's why he said that he did piano at first because like he couldn't get the idea of like switching chords so quickly. Like he had time to like go back and forth.
Right. And everyone really likes a minimal key part too. I think you can be a lot more thoughtful with those, and that's why I enjoy the MIDI. I can't do it live.
Yeah, yeah. And then the other performance you did was at the Milwaukee Art Museum, which is probably really cool.
Oh, it was so cool.
Yeah.
Just playing inside that beautiful building. I had a shirt that kind of looked like it that I wore. Just
really?
Told people I was, cosplaying as the Calatrava. But the acoustics in there are super nuts, and there's a great crowd.
Was it like nuts in a good way, though?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm assuming they didn't build it specifically for a music event, so it's like,
no.
Yeah, it could have been terrible, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, it could have been horrible.
Yeah.
I said, if shit hits the fan, we'll just tell everyone we're a noise band.
We're just loud.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah, but I think it worked out.
Yeah. So I just going really far back. Are you from Milwaukee? Because I feel like you're firmly embedded in the music scene here.
Yes.
Yeah, like you are one of the many really talented people.
You are one of them. No.
You are one of one of those music folk.
Oh.
No, but you're like one of the if people like bring up musicians from Milwaukee or artists, you're always talked about because you're like insanely talented. I was listening to you sing the other day and I was just like, how?
Yeah.
No, but really though, it's like your voice is so insanely unique and like awesome. It's that combo of like, it doesn't, because there's a lot of people out there that have good voices, but none of them sometimes they sound like, oh, that's just a person with a good voice. Like you have a good voice, but it also is like very different. And so when did you start realizing that you had the ability to sing, I guess?
Okay. So,
I mean, everybody does, but like sing well, I should say. Yeah.
Should I be like up close to the mic or okay?
You're fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's a weird story that I've told a couple times, but it's like seared into my memory. I remember being like it must have been 5. I was at my grandparents' cabin that they had rented in like northern Wisconsin, I think. I don't know. Yeah. My mom will listen. She'll be like, once you
get up there, it's all the same.
I was 5 and it was a cabin.
Right.
And it was raining outside. So my entire family, I have a large extended family, was just like bumping around in this tiny cabin.
Yeah.
And I was hanging out on the ground, just looking at all of them and trying to imitate their voices, playing with that. And I probably didn't sound like any of them, but I started to notice. Right.
That's important.
Right. I was like, damn, I sound like Grandpa.
Killing it. Wow.
But, I found myself really enamored with that idea of play and the different types of tones that you could make with your voice.
Yeah.
And from there, it just kind of expanded when I started putting that into the singing realm.
Right.
I mean, I grew up with a vast array of vocal influences.
Sure.
Like nothing crazy, but if you're trying to learn how to sing from Celine Dion and then Christina Aguilera and like they're two different spectrums.
Right. They will have killer voices though.
Yeah. Super fucking great. I love both of them.
I know.
I don't know. It kind of just grew from that idea of play and pushing those bounds and not having to commit to one specific voice, because I think voices are largely learned.
Yeah, that's what I think too, because it's like, I'm sure you could sing in a way that would like hurt your voice your entire life, if you want to like mimic a certain thing or like be like a certain thing. But how do you even like hone in on what it is that your voice sounds like, I guess? Like, what is that? Because I think when I was growing up and I tried to sing as if like, as they were singing, you know what I mean? I was listening to a song and I'm like, I want to sound like that, which is, if you're trying to sing, it's like terrible for your voice because it's not supposed to be like that,
I think you start there with like imitating the tones, and then you have to adapt for whatever your actual abilities are.
Yeah.
And through that, you kind of find a fusion for where they meet in the sweet spot. And that's sort of like where your true like artistic voice is.
When did you find that? At what age? Were you older? Like, did your voice always sound kind of similar, or is it like a newer?
No, it's been like a pretty steady trajectory. It's always been like a different voice.
Yeah.
I remember like singing in school, in elementary school, for show and tell, and some kid asking me like why I sang funny. Yeah, I was a bold little kid.
Let me show you my voice.
Check out this cool trick. Some like garbled.
It almost sounds like you forgot to bring something, and then you're like, actually, you know what?
Oh no! You know what? I used to bring peas every week that were just like sprouting. So this was probably like, Amanda, you can't bring the peas.
We've seen the peas, okay? We get it. We got peas.
I'll make you beg for those peas back.
Yeah. So that's when you kind of found it?
Yeah. And I think like I knew something was exciting about that, and I didn't understand why it was being rejected, but I really work well out of spite. I always have.
What do you mean rejected?
The kids just like didn't get it.
Okay.
Or like when I was in chorus and stuff, especially in middle school, the teachers like didn't like what I was doing, or like didn't understand why I couldn't be homogenous with the rest of the group. And
that's the problem, I feel like, though, with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're unique, they're like, no,
right,
you cannot.
I mean, it was chorus, so that like, it makes sense.
Right.
You're supposed to be a chorus.
You always get the solo.
No, I didn't. I never got the fucking solo.
Really? You never got it?
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
My range wasn't quite there. It was like so much tone training on my own. I keep saying that word. Maybe I don't know what it means. But I wasn't there yet. It was just like a lot of shower singing and singing in the car, I think, that finally took it to where it is now. Yeah,
because were you ever, I guess, at a point with singing where you were kind of afraid? Were you afraid to sing in public or like get on stage, or has that always been okay?
Oh yeah, no, I'm still afraid.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted to die like 10 times over yesterday.
Really?
People scare me so much.
Just generally?
Yeah, horrible social anxiety.
Like this conversation is scary? Or is it more groups?
Groups.
Yeah. And you know that they're looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you know that you're going to have to expend some like level of social energy that's, I don't know, I do better with the one-on-one intimate things.
Right, because it's a lot of energy from a lot of different people, you know. So how do you deal with that then?
You kind of just like games, like little mind games that like shift, like you feel like your eyes flash or suddenly like they all kind of disappear, or they're just like simulation or video game characters, or I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
I used to have this weird game that I would play in middle school, back when I was like getting bullied a lot and whatnot. I would look at the lights like at night when driving and squint at them so the light would refract. Okay. And I'd pretend like I was like saving up power in my bank.
Okay.
So that when I would go to school and be walking through the hallways, I would squint my eyes, and it was like that's how I accessed the power, and I just had like a glowing orb around me that you couldn't touch me.
I'm invincible.
Yeah. I also was definitely then just that leering kid walking through the hallways.
I do that now still accidentally because like I wear glasses, and I don't wear glasses all the time, so sometimes I'm just doing this to try to see people.
You have the light eyes too.
I'm not glaring at you. I'm trying to see.
Right.
And I forgot my glasses over there. But yeah, it does look like that a lot. So then did that affect you kind of now? Is that like the bullying and stuff? Do you think that played into the social anxiety that like kids are assholes and mean and maybe they're all going to be like that too?
Maybe. I mean, I guess I'm not so much worried now that people are going to be mean. Everyone's been very nice to me in the past few years, which is super, super great.
That's
actually
good.
Really since I came to Milwaukee, people have been mostly nice. It's just like this, I don't know how to talk to them, like disconnect that I'm like afraid of.
You know what I do? And I really am trying to break this habit, but if I'm having a conversation with someone, I do this under my breath, and I don't know why I do it. If like a moment comes when it's like awkward or weird, I just say awkward.
No, you do not.
I'm like awkward. And I say it under my breath, and I don't know why I do it, and I just can't stop myself. But I feel like I have to say it, like I have to get it out of me.
God.
Like, and it's bad because it makes the conversation go worse for sure. If they hear it, I hope they don't. But yeah, so. But
I'll keep my ears peeled for that.
Never. It's never in this situation. It's like, which is weird because like if I do improv and stuff, and if I'm on stage, I don't really pay attention to much going out there or how people are reacting. It doesn't bother me. It's when like social situations, like when there's groups of people or like I'm forced to interact with people that I don't necessarily know or like or whatever. That's when it's bad.
There's a nice wall that you can at least have up when you're on stage.
Yeah.
You have to like communicate with people, but you don't have to directly interact with them. And that's kind of like a safety net.
Yeah. Because I mean, looking at the stuff that you do, you seem very confident on stage. Like you seem like you.
Yeah, I just sort of like shut off. I don't really know what I'm doing half the time.
Just black out, and then at the end,
sort
it's
of,
like,
yeah. It's cool, you know. You take yourself to this completely different space. Your eyes kind of like roll back in your head a little bit. It's fine.
Use that light, you know, and just start freaking going. That light you got saved up.
It took a while to get to that point where I was comfortable with just shutting off because I was self-conscious with my stage presence. I feel like I'm like an artist and a musician before I'm a performer. I don't really know how to do that yet. But I remember being at a show like few years ago. I was just singing backup vocals for this band, but it was the first time that I was on stage and had my hands free.
Yeah,
and I like
they weren't tied to your sides.
Yeah, no, or like with an instrument or something. But I had my hands free, and I dance weird. I dance with my fingertips, but I was freaking out in the green room. Like, what do I do on stage? I'm gonna look like an idiot. Exposed. Yeah. And Kat Reese, I don't know if you know her. She's a wonderful musician. She's got her own thing, Pleasure Thief, and she's in the band No No.
Okay.
Incredible human being, but she was like, no, just go up there and do that. It's like, that's like your thing. You can just do that thing. And I was like, well, if you, who I look up to, who can just like release everything, are telling me that, let's just try it. And
right.
It felt incredible. So.
Yeah. It's a lot about confidence. You know, you can do the weirdest stuff, but as long as you believe in it, it's just like everyone's going to respond.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I tell people now, like, the most important thing to put on before you leave the house is like conviction.
Yeah.
Like, you can wear anything out the fucking door.
Right.
But you have to stand by it. If you like it. That's how you shoot a bully down. You're like, no, I chose to do this.
Yeah.
So
frick
off.
Frick, did you say frick off?
Yeah.
I like the censoring of yourself. Just in case, in this case, kids.
Oh no, I definitely swore earlier.
Oh yeah, it's already broken, but that's okay. So let's talk about some of your music then, because you do a lot of stuff. I feel like you do music, but you also do art, like painting and things like that, which by the way is like pretty incredible too.
Oh, thank you.
I'm just going to give you compliments all the time. But you did a bunch of clown, those are really cool. Like I would like buy one of those for sure. I don't think, do they exist? Do you still have them anymore?
Most of them do. They're all in my attic. Creepy clown paintings in my
Right, just where you want to have them.
Yeah, no, I've been meaning to go through it, but my attic is like cold and dirty right now, so I'm just waiting till
full
it's
of clowns.
like yeah. Well, I'm not afraid of clowns, but
okay. Well, it'd be hard to do those if you were like screaming every time you draw one. So just to give people some context on that, what are those? You went to school for painting and you went to MIAD?
Yeah, I went to MIAD. I was a double major in painting, and then this major called ISA, which stood for Integrated Studio Arts, which was kind of like you could do any media that you wanted, but instead of the classes focusing on technique like painting did, it was solely conceptual. Okay. So if you wanted to learn the technique for whatever you were doing, you had to teach yourself for it. But it really stressed like thinking about it instead of just like thinking about how to paint a pot. So I got a really well-balanced education from the push and pull of that, and I was able to explore like performance, which is kind of what ran in tandem with the clown thing when that started taking off, and
yeah. So was that during school that you painted those, or drew those?
Yeah, it started my junior year. Okay, junior year is like definitely when I blossomed into myself. I saw this artist, Scully Gustafson, and his art partner Eric Moore do this series of like clown photography and whatnot. Scully's an incredible
clown photography. Now that might scare me a little bit. I don't know what it is.
It's not like explicit like red nose type thing. It's more like somewhere in between. They're playing with the primaries and whatnot, and that sort of like playful child like essence, but more like symbolic of it with the shapes and colors and whatnot. Gotcha. Scully would paint himself for the sets and pose in pictures that they do friends that took that. And I was really enamored by the freedom that the characters that they were creating expressed. So I thought I would explore it in my own art. I spent the entire year pretty much only wearing primaries and
oh really? Yeah,
kind of like getting into this
the mindset of it.
Yeah, separate character. Like what is that when actors they do?
You're talking about I know what you're talking about. When they like become the character beforehand, they do I don't know what it's called. I can't think of words.
I can't think
everyone knows what we mean, right? You know?
I really just dove into that and kind of became a different person for a year. Step back out for my senior year. Oh yeah, all the time. Just like dressed in costume all the time, listened to music that was along that theme, kind of started training my movements to be like dialed
even
in
when
like
you're by yourself? Like that's intense. That's a long year, I feel like.
It was good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's like now become a very integral part of me. So while it started off as this form of play, it was also exploration into like what makes me tick or like what actually makes me feel comfortable. And I don't know, it's this weird shift between like I say character a lot and like identity, both of those. I think it's a lot more fluid than we give people credit for. you can be anything.
Yeah, be anything you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said in your junior year, then that was when kind of you came into yourself. Is that when you started taking like singing and stuff more seriously, or had that already happened?
No, that hadn't happened yet. Okay. I was in a band from my freshman year onwards. I'd never been in like a band before. I was in a folk band where I just sang like backup vocals with this guy, Daniel Mitchell. Incredible voice. I think he's living in the UP now, but he also went to my ed. I was still really, really shy. Still kind of like doing my own thing. It didn't start taking off till maybe after I graduated my ed.
Yeah.
Or maybe my senior year when I started using my voice on my own for like performance aspects.
Sure.
But I didn't really start doing music seriously till like a couple years ago, I feel like.
Yeah, but it's been crazy since that point. It was last year, right, that you won the 3 awards at the Radio Milwaukee?
Yeah, this past December.
Yeah.
Wow.
What did you win? You won album art, right?
Yep.
Solo artist?
Yep.
And then what was the other one?
Music video.
Music video.
Yeah.
And what was the music video?
Music video was for Gravetalking.
That is an intense video. You know, when you watch that, it's like, who first of all edited that and shot that? Because it's incredible.
Kristen Peterson.
It's really well done.
Yeah, she's awesome.
When you were in that picture frame up on top, and it was amazing. It was really well done. Was that a concept that you had for that already?
No, that was all Kristen. Kristen had approached me like more than a year before, her and a couple different filmmakers saying like, hey, we want to make some music videos for you.
Yeah.
I said, that's great. You know what? Like, I've got the music. I'm going to let you guys take free reign over creativity. I'll give input, but I trust you.
Yeah.
I think like I knew that I was working with talented people, and you really get to see them explode to their full potential if you give them that
leeway.
Yeah.
And that was a song that you had for a while, right?
Yeah. A lot of the songs that I've had for a while, maybe not the ones on my album, but that one I did. And it had evolved from like just an acoustic song that I wrote my sophomore year of college to this like, I think it took us 3 years to finish it.
Really?
Process with William Gardner, who's part of the Here Studios thing. Him and I worked on that. We're just both very busy people and very particular. Okay. So it was always like, no, let's get in the studio and do this little part.
Yeah. So did it change much from the beginning to the end, or was...
Yes, I think.
It changed a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I became more confident in like navigating how to work in a studio, because that was my first like legitimate creative experience, was working with William on that song. I guess it was my second, it was one of my first.
Sure. Yeah. No one's going to critique you on that. Oh, that's small play.
I try to be, I keep track of these things.
Right.
Yeah. No, as we like both figured out how to communicate with each other, it sort of slowly blossomed.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, if that's the case, like say for that song, when do you know it's done then? Because that could go on probably forever if you wanted it to. Like you could, 5 years from now still be
having the music video being made at the same time is definitely how it got done. Okay. Because William was even changing things like up until the last week.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting, but it was like, you just got to crank that wrench just a little bit more, make sure it's like tightly in place.
So like, when do you know it's done? Like, is there something that you're listening for specifically, or is a feeling that you get? Yeah.
I think sometimes, and I'm getting better about it now, but like when it's that nice medium between like raw delivery or like expression.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I don't want to say polished because I don't really listen to like super nicely polished stuff, but
yeah,
because like clean production.
Sure.
Because you can overproduce things. I think so often that happens is like, let's try this and that and that.
Yeah.
There's got to be a level of subtraction too. And I think once you started doing the subtractive process, that's when you can stop.
That's when you're done?
Yeah.
Yeah. So making all the songs for your album, then were those songs recent songs, or were those songs similar to Gravetalking, where it was like you've had them for a while?
Oh, that album was actually a very interesting process. I did that with a producer, Christian Strelo.
Okay.
He lives in California now, but he used to live just on the east side.
Okay.
And I met him like 2 years ago, just like on a whim. Jay Anderson, he's a saxophone player, invited me over to Strelo's house to just lay down some vocals for this piece that he was writing for this girl at the time. And then I met Strelo. We got along well. He's like, hey, why don't you come and just see what we can make up in the studio?
Yeah.
And we found that we clicked very quickly. And he's a producer just already. He writes a bunch of stuff for a bunch of different people, works for License Lab and stuff.
Oh, nice.
So he had an entire library of songs that he had just had sitting on the side for if these sort of opportunities came along.
Sure.
That he just started like pitching at me, and sometimes I'd go into the studio with him and we'd lay down the entire track like just then based off of whatever came to my head right then.
Yeah.
Or songs like Neighboring Moons I wrote my junior year and brought to him.
Okay.
Or sometimes he would send me a track, I would write for it at home, and then I'd come in.
Sure.
But it was a pretty quick process. We did that album in less than a year.
Oh, wow.
Which, considering it took me 3 years to write one song
previous,
was
pretty
like...
quick. Yeah, it's pretty fast.
He's a much faster worker and like a put your foot down, like, no, you're not touching that.
Yeah.
Let it sit for a second. And we'll work on this, come back to it. Which was very healthy, new way of working.
Right, because do you find that if you let things sit for a little bit, you come back, you're like, wow, I actually really like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we didn't go into it with the intent of making an album either. I think if I make another album, it'll be like more conceptual. But this was kind of just like, how many different ways can we stretch what you can do and still make it like conglomerate? He was just like showing somebody, I think this is how it went. He was like showing somebody some of the stuff we were working on, and he realized that it flowed nicely into one another.
A package, into a complete work.
So he hit me up and he's like, hey, you should really release an album.
So so that all wasn't even intended. What were you going to do? Like just release them as...
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
No, I was just like...
Just put them in the ether, see what happens?
Sort of. I mean, he's much more business-minded than I am. I've kind of like jumped on the fast track working with him of learning how to properly do stuff instead of just like, hey, I put it on my SoundCloud, check it out. Like a real freaking idiot. But
is that what idiots do?
Well, that's what I was doing before.
Oh,
so
really?
Yes, no, not all idiots. Some people know how to play that game. I did not. I had like 10 followers.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know what I would have done. We had released a couple singles together, but this seemed like a good move to do something.
So that was like probably a big turning point for you then, because
it was.
I feel like there's a lot of times in life where we almost do something or almost don't do something, and then like if you did do it or didn't do it, your life would be completely different.
Yeah.
Whereas that probably is a case right there.
This opened all the doors I didn't know like were even previously shut, just having online content, having like a piece of merch, having like my name. Oh God, I keep forgetting about that.
What?
I wasn't even going by my name.
What were you going by?
Selfish Skin.
Selfish Skin.
Which doesn't really roll off the tongue, but it was like this moniker that I had been running with for my solo stuff in general, that I insisted on using.
Right. Was that why specifically instead of your name? Did you not want people to know it was you?
No. I don't feel a connection to my name.
Okay.
I never have. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad.
You gave me this great name.
Yeah.
You have a good name, though. It's a really good name, especially for like doing arts and stuff like that. People can remember it.
It's a memorable name.
Right.
And I've since found like the benefits to that.
Right.
My name is Amanda Huff, like Huff and Puff,
Yeah.
That's good. They can Google that.
Right, exactly. And you're probably the only one that comes up, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's another good thing.
Strela was telling me that.
Yep.
But it's still like, if you have to call yourself that and you have to have other people call yourself that, it's this weird disjoint of, if you've never connected with that name.
Sure.
What does it mean? I feel like it's my host name, or that sounds like really dramatic, but
sounds like Star Trek-y a little bit. But no, I understand where you're coming from with that for sure, because it is just a name, you know, like it is. I look at my name and I'm like, well, I don't feel like warmth when I think of my last name. We're like, how cool is that? You know? I think as I've grown older, like I think my last name is cooler because it's unique, but like,
you have a cool last name.
Thank you. Picked it myself. No, didn't. But yeah, no, I kind of agree with that, where if I was probably making music, you know, if I had any sort of talent to do that, I wouldn't probably choose my name either.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you have to think of it from a branding thing also. And it's like, once you've picked it, you don't have to commit to it, but it's a much easier trajectory if you do.
Right.
And I mean, I feel like if I could pick my name.
Yeah. What would you pick if you could pick your name?
It's like not I feel like I have like multiple, and this is like going back to the character thing, but like multiple different personas or something that come out at different times. Like sometimes I'll be like Charlie, and sometimes it's Ramona, and like.
Are these real ones, or are you just making this up now?
No, these ones are real ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are those? What is the difference between you, Amanda Huff, and like those other ones? Like, what are you more? Is it like a personality sort of difference, or is it like a mental state sort of difference?
I think it's like all of that. It's like abilities, level of like consciousness in a situation. Like Ramona would be the one that's like growling and shrieking on stage and kind of like, whoa, just only on stage type thing. But like the eyes go wide type thing. And Charlie's got like more subtle disposition.
Right.
I don't know.
But I think a lot of people have that, though. They just don't necessarily name them.
Right.
Yeah.
It's naming things just makes it like
easier to identify.
Yeah. And then also, you know, you said like give that warmth, and I think you can feel that inside. Like if I feel like Max today and something just like clicks and that feels correct. I don't know.
No, that's interesting. Stupid. No, it's not stupid. It's not stupid at all. I think a lot of people feel that way. Yeah, they just don't necessarily associate it with names, because it's just like it being a person. It's like, well, it's not a one-dimensional thing.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
I'm not just Sam Kierkegaard, and I'm just walking down the street and I feel like Sam Kierkegaard all the time. You know, there's a lot of different ins and outs. Like the brain is so complex. You know, so I think a lot of people feel that. Yeah.
I mean, I think too, like with the way that I play with my voice, it kind of like makes sense to channel it into those different, like if I'm doing all the lows, like that's got to be something in itself, or like the different personalities that kind of get to swim in and out when I'm shifting on stage.
Right. What does music do for you? Like what do you get out of it? You know what I mean? Because if you started doing it and you're still doing it now, I would assume that it's a good thing for you.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is that? Like what, and I'm sure it's different, you know, with every sort of art that you do, you know? So what is singing specifically? What do you get from that?
Well, I don't know how you would
articulate it.
No, like, I've synesthesia in like that I see colors with sound and that I feel sensations with sound. So, creating music is incredibly stimulating. And you know, when you spend the rest of your time at a day job, having that balance out is just like wonderful and beautiful, and this thing that you can only access when you're immersed in it. So like, I don't know, getting to fire off all the
neurons in your brain.
Yeah. Synapses. Is really exciting. And then there's like the emotional aspect of it. I'm a very dramatic and emotional person.
Just on the regular you usually are?
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not going to like burn your house down dramatic type thing.
I don't know, I'll be watching. Watching for you to come back.
Yeah, no, I'm not vengeful, but you know, I have a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
And it feels like a good way to like
kind of get them out or release them a little bit. Or,
yeah, in a productive way,
and not a way that you're crying on the couch or something. It's write that in a song.
You're crying into a microphone instead,
and that's helpful not only for you but for everyone else too.
Right, because then I'm in the same position where maybe I am like crying on the couch and I'm listening to somebody crying into the microphone, and you feel that solidarity with a stranger, and that's such a powerful connection when you're feeling alone. Some people, when they're sad, they'll listen to the pump up jams to like
try to get them out of it.
Yeah, and I think there's a time and place for that, but I think there's also like you need to be able to let yourself
be
feel
sad.
And it's that like cathartic agency.
Yeah. No, that's a lot of stuff that I've been like working on, is like allowing myself to feel what I feel and just being okay with it.
Yeah.
Because I've gone to therapy since I was a kid. But like that's something that has always been hard. Excuse me. I'm not crying. It was awkward. That was always something that was hard for me. It was that like what I'm feeling right now is okay. Like just being okay with that. Like I'm upset, this makes me sad, or I feel this way, or I'm thinking about this when this is happening. Instead of judging myself essentially for it. Being like, oh yeah, that's fine.
Oh no, man, emotions are cool. Like this idea that happiness is the top tier, and if you're not there, you're at a lower rung is like dumb.
Yeah.
Like think of some of the cool, I mean, they're horrible, but like cool things you feel when you're angry. Like you can't tap into those all the time.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So many beautiful things come out of like the resilience that happens in between different emotions.
Right. Yeah. And I don't think I ever was like, it's not cool. Cause I mean, I cry all the time, it was never about like the coolness. It was more about like, it was just some internal monologue that, cause I have OCD. So it was some internal monologue that was like, this is not acceptable. And I don't know why, but it's like, it's not okay to think like this, and, but yeah, I'm trying to do that. So that's probably a good thing. I should write a song or something.
Hell yeah.
Talk about it. I won't be able to sing it though. So
I'll sing it for you.
Thank you. I used to write songs when I was in like middle school for girls. Yeah. It didn't work out though. I tried. Okay. Yeah.
I've written songs for people.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work out.
No, it does. Yeah, but no, I used to do that all the time. I feel like it was, I thought the reaction would be different all the time, and maybe you felt that too.
You're pouring yourself into it, and it's like, yeah, this is really thoughtful, but I'm like not being too heavy-handed, but enough,
right?
And,
Right. And you can actually sing, so it probably means even more, coming from you. Whereas like my monotone voice is trying to, yeah, maybe that'll hit some people. Who knows?
I can make some creepy sounds you probably wouldn't want in a song for you.
Oh, like what?
Well, I'm not gonna do it.
Creepy in what way? Like, are you still singing or?
Yeah. You just like, I don't know, if you like tap into like, the depths of, yeah,
it hurts kind of. But
garbling. I'd probably make your speakers peak if I tried to like.
I've already done that once. I could hear it. Yeah. So okay, you were also on American Idol.
Yeah.
Caught you off guard. Why did you decide to do that? First off, I guess.
Okay, so Amelinda Birch, who works at 88.9, had some video of me. I don't know which one she sent. Maybe she sent the Here or something that I did. She has a friend who was a producer for American Idol, and she sent him my stuff. I didn't know this until she messaged me, and she's like, hey, so I sent my friend this. Yeah. And he said he'd give you a private audition for American Idol if you're interested. And I don't watch the show.
I don't either. I watched like the first season, I think.
Right.
Yeah, and then it was...
First few seasons, good as shit. After that, I don't know.
It's like Survivor. It's like, how is it still on TV? Who's watching
Survivor's good, okay?
Do you watch Survivor?
I haven't recently, but my mom and I used to all the time.
Oh my God. I used to watch it all the time.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But I'm just surprised. It's like 50 years it seems like it's been on.
Still
it's crazy.
On.
Someone's watching it though.
My mom.
Your mom is a huge watch party.
She is. She's still watching it. I know she is. I think my brother watches it too still.
Okay. Are they around here?
My brother goes to Marquette now.
Oh, cool.
My mom, I'm from Illinois, just suburbs there. So
Gotcha.
she's there sitting on the couch watching.
Nice.
It's fine.
Ready for who's the host?
Oh,
Probst.
yeah.
Jeff Probst. Is that who it is?
Something like that.
I remember it. Yeah. But anyways.
Yeah. So anyhow, I got that message and I was like, well, this sounds like it could be funny. I don't really know anything about it. I have the audition lined up. I don't have to wait in line.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Let's just do it.
Yeah.
So I went to Chicago because that's where the auditions were. And then waited forever. I didn't have to wait in the big long lines, but what they don't tell you is those big long lines are just a precursor to waiting in big long lines. To waiting in a room for 7 hours.
Some more.
Yeah.
It's waiting to wait.
Yeah. What do they say? Hurry up and wait or something? Damn, true. But anyhow, I go and I audition for these producers that then pass me on to audition for bigger producers. So I had 2 auditions that day. And I passed that. So then they were like, okay, well, now you get to go to one of these select cities to perform for the judges, because you don't perform for the judges in those lines. That's please.
Those are for the commoners.
Katy Perry doesn't have time to listen to all that shit.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, so I went to New York and then I waited forever.
Wait some more.
Oh my God, I woke up at 6 that day to get in line to this building. There were maybe 30 of us that even had to audition.
Yeah.
And then didn't end up auditioning till 11 p.m.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Oh my God. And they didn't give us water, didn't give us directions,
They're
didn't give us
hoping that
food.
some of you would leave, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. Smoking
right?
you out. Yeah.
I ate a piece of pizza that somebody else's mom brought in, and it was a veggie pizza. And then I had green stuff in my teeth, and was like, "Oh no! Now they're gonna call me to audition. I can feel it."
Yeah.
And they didn't. I had 7 hours to get the pizza out of my teeth. It was chill, but yeah, it was crazy. So I auditioned for the judges. It was Lionel Richie. What the fuck is his name? Country guy.
Oh, Luke Bryan.
Luke Bryan. I wanted to say Ryan. Yeah, Luke Bryan.
Yep.
Not memorable, very nice.
Yeah, I bet.
Very, very kind. I liked him. And Katy Perry, and she was scary.
Was she?
Yeah, I didn't like her at all.
Hot and cold?
Yeah. More cold than... Well, no, she's hot, but...
Well, yeah, just in a different non-personality way.
Yeah. I did not enjoy her presence at all.
Yeah.
Sorry if she ever listens to this.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I can never get Katy Perry on the podcast anymore.
She told me I sounded like a frog, which was chill.
I mean, that's not very nice. That's not chill. She told me I sounded like a frog,
right.
but
and
it's
you know
cool.
What? The girl who won American Idol sang the fucking Kermit the Frog song for her audition.
Rainbow Connection?
Yeah.
Love that song.
Yeah. You
Great
know what?
song.
I really liked the girl who won, too. She was very kind.
Who was the girl who won?
Maddie Poppy. She was actually at my Chicago auditions, and I remember seeing her being like, yo, if she makes this audition, we'll probably see each other again and be friends.
Yeah.
And we weren't super close, but we did talk. I don't know if she'd remember me now. But
is she big and famous now?
I have no idea.
It's a hit or miss with American Idol,
Yeah.
Sometimes they just you get to be like Clay Aiken, and then you never hear you never hear from him again.
Yeah.
He had a really good song though. I really liked one of his songs. Do you remember Clay Aiken?
I remember Clay Aiken. I don't remember anything.
He sang a song. It was called Invincible or Invisible, one of those two.
Was it on a
I
Now
could sing
CD?
it for you, but I won't. I don't know where it was. But anyways, that was the year Ruben stuttered one.
Right.
He was freaking profusely
It
sweating.
is hot up on those stages, though.
Yeah, all the lights just blasting you.
Oh my God. Last night, even after my Man performance, I was like, is my hair just stringing to my forehead or something? And I don't move around a lot. But
Yeah.
when you got all those things on you.
And you're giving all that energy, you know what I mean? You don't have to move around a lot to give a lot of energy out.
Right.
Yeah. But I think he lost a ton of weight, though. I think
he?
that was the big Ruben Studdard story, because he had no songs that came out, I don't think.
I don't keep up with any of them.
That was I still follow all of them on Instagram.
Yeah.
No, I really, that was the only season I think I watched. I think it was the second one.
Yeah, that was the second one.
Yeah.
Damn.
But No, that's really cool though. That's a cool opportunity just generally, just to get out there and do that.
I mean, I passed the judges round. They gave me the golden ticket. You don't get to keep it. But
what a rip.
You
got to meet Ryan Seacrest though?
Yeah, I think he's a robot.
Yeah, I worked on the hallway from him.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
He's crazy. Well, he's not, I say that like I didn't get to say a single fucking word to him. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But like, he doesn't have pores.
Dude, the dude is just I just don't know. It's hard for me to believe that he's actually a human being because like of the amount of stuff he does too.
Right. How does he do it all?
How
and
are
how
you
does
in
he
LA
put
and
up
New York
with
almost
those
at the
people?
same time? Like, and hosting things and like it's crazy. I knew people who worked with him more closely, and I'll have to ask him how he was, but everyone says he's super nice all the time.
He seems like he'd be really kind. He's got to be incredibly patient.
Right.
So.
Just interacting with people all day and interviewing people all day. Like that's his job pretty much.
He has to schmooze too.
Yeah.
Because that's what he does.
Yeah.
I could not do that.
Yeah. Not a smoozer.
No.
Are you a tell it like it is kind of person?
Yeah. If I don't like your stuff, I either like won't say anything
or yeah.
Yeah, or I'll tell you. It depends.
Depends on how you're feeling that day.
Yeah.
Or how you feel about them.
How invested I am in what you're doing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. To their face though. Have you told someone that? Is this talking about music generally or just everything? Like things like that people are doing?
Everything.
Yeah.
I think it's a skill to be able to be like a good critic, you know? Like it's really easy to rip something apart and be a dick, and nobody likes a bully.
Yeah.
But to be like, hey, here's what you're doing. I'm not really digging this. This is working for you. Like, what if, like constructive criticism.
Right. Yeah.
I think creatives need to be honest and direct and critical about things if we truly want to care about each other and
or
see
just
each other
get
grow.
Better. Yeah, exactly.
You have to.
Right.
Or you're going to dig yourself like into a hole or a bubble or whatever, and that's not good for anyone.
Yeah, because no one starts out how they end. You
Right.
know what I mean? So, and there's not really an end unless you're dead, but like, the whole, you know what I mean? But so talking about that, your first like performances, right? Like doing music, how did those go? Where was the first performance you had?
First performance, where was it?
I can tell you that we had a stage at one of my sister's birthday parties, and I did a pretty killer performance on it. So that was pretty great. That was my shining moment.
So we going far back, like first performance?
Yeah. What as a kid, were you a big performance kid? Were you like singing songs in front of your parents and yeah?
Yeah, I was as like a little kid, like up until I finished elementary school. I was super outgoing and singing all the time and like inserting myself into situations. And then my chorus teachers liked me. Like I was getting solos and stuff then. It was middle school that crushed me. But
what was so bad about middle school? Was it the bullying and stuff like that?
Yeah, it was the bullying. It was like the larger scale and not knowing how to navigate that situation. It was like all my friends getting cooler friends and then me just like slowly getting cut to the end of the table at lunch and stuff like that. I had that problem in high school.
Jesus. Yeah.
In high school, I just said, fuck that and sat alone. Like,
you know what? The thing about high school was like I had friends all the way up till like the end. And then at the end of high school, they were like, yeah, we're not going to be your friends anymore.
Lame.
I know. And I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. But then you go to college anyways and you meet new people. So it's okay.
Oh, man. You know what? It's fine. I'm sure I was like also a very irritating human being back then. I'm not going to pretend like I was like some angel because I desperately wanted attention.
Well, so does everyone.
Yeah.
I don't think that makes you irritating. No. You're just a kid that was growing up.
I was in like advanced classes all through elementary school and there they would just take you out of class for like a certain period of time and you do like the advanced studies stuff.
Yeah.
And then in middle school, we had an entire like team. So all of your classes were advanced. You were just like cut off from the large group of students and you'd be like in a class of 30 that you would have all of your classes with as opposed to these
meeting
kids.
Other people and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that definitely hindered my social growth a lot, I think.
Yeah. Did you get more into arts though because you were kind of by yourself? Like, were you drawing and all that stuff as you were growing up, or?
Yeah.
Like, what were you into at that point? Like, what were you doing in your spare time in like middle school and high school?
God, playing video games.
Are you big into video games?
Yeah, I love video games.
Yeah, you got a PlayStation shirt on.
I do. Yeah. I love video games. I love reading. I like, I guess I was listening to a ton of music. Definitely doing art on the side. I wasn't great at art then, but I was always, I mean, not many people are great at art in middle school, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's all relative.
Yeah.
Yeah. With art too. It's like you could be bad at art, but if it's like hanging up in a museum, who's to say it's
Who
bad?
Cares?
You know, it's
if you can talk about it like it's prolific or, you know, whatever.
Right.
Good. Prolific wasn't the right word there, but
You
Jesus, it felt right.
It felt really right.
I love museums.
Yeah, I do too. And as I've grown older, I've loved them even more. I never used to like going into museums, but
my dad used to take me to the museums all the time as a kid, like Science and Industry or the Natural History Museum in Chicago.
Yeah. They got some good museums down there.
Oh, they have such good museums.
Yeah. Were your parents always supportive of what you're doing?
No, not as like a career move, especially since I was like in the advanced courses and like a gifted child. They're like, yeah, maybe you'll go into something that'll make a lot of money.
Was it more like Midwestern practicality? Because I feel like that's a lot of parents here.
Yeah.
You know, that they care about what you're doing and they think it's cool, but they want you to be financially safe.
Yes.
You know?
I would say that was largely what it was, which made me feel like pretty alienated with my decision at the time. Like, but it ended up being good.
Yeah. Like when you went to art school where they're like, don't go to art school, go somewhere else. Go to like, you know, I don't know, Illinois or whatever. Yeah.
Just do art as minor or something.
Yeah.
No way. No way. I'll dig myself into that debt hole forever. It's fine. I'll pay that. You know, I'm going to do this.
I went to a school that I didn't do art, and I have a massive amount of debt. So you can't really win, you know? You just got to do what you think is right.
Yeah. And, you know, I think like I really wanted to do this. And so I have the discipline because I actually care about it. So I don't regret my decision. Like, yeah, I'm doing music now and my degrees are in art. But so much of what I learned from art school is what informs my musical practice now. And I still do art. I still utilize art in like how I critique the music videos that I have or the art direction for my brand or whatever it is.
Yeah, because I don't think it necessarily even matters. You know, what you go to school for is kind of irrelevant. It's like what you're interested in and what you're pursuing is important.
Every time I clean my room, I find a different place that I've like shoved my diploma.
You didn't even put it in a frame? It's in a shoebox or something?
No, I didn't put it in a frame. I've got it in like a...
It's an accomplishment, though. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, it totally is. I busted my ass. I got a double major and a minor while I was there, and I had like 3 jobs throughout the entire time. So
yeah.
But it's good. You know, you should just always be working, always be like jumping to the next thing, always be seeing how you can expand your phalanges or whatever.
Does it overwhelm you at all? Like,
yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things where I have many interests and many things that I want to do, but I end up like stretching my arms out like this and putting them all like along my arms.
Yeah.
And once in a while, I'll get a nice like...
Oh, yeah,
you can just funnel it all forwards.
Yeah,
but until then, you're just kind of like trudging through.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, we were talking about this before, but it's like the possibilities are really endless, you know? Like even if you look at it as music specifically, right, and singing, there's so many things that you can do in that. And then there's so many little things like marketing yourself and like all these little things that you have to do too on top of it. It's not just going out there and performing or recording something.
God,
you know,
nobody ever told me about like this extra
the back
stuff.
end work. Yeah.
But it's good, you know. I really want to feel like I earned it and that I'm not going to get taken advantage of in any of these situations. Like you have to be learning the gritty stuff so that you can warp it to work for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you can at least have people respect you.
Sure. Yeah, it's an important piece. I mean, if you want people to hear your music and, you know, You need to market yourself and get out there. And I think you do, you know what I mean? You do that just fine.
I don't make enough Facebook posts. I know I don't.
Oh, really? Is that you're lacking in there?
I don't utilize my Facebook page enough because I want it to maintain its voice, and sometimes it's like exhausting.
Yeah.
Or like my Instagram, I don't have it just for
music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I want you to know like
who
I'm
you are
a real
as a person.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And that's I read in other interviews that's very important to you.
Yeah, I think like the human thing, if you're going to do what I strive to do with my music, which is tapping into that very emotional, vulnerable aspect, you can't have like this shiny gloss over you. You can't be a complete package in that way.
Yeah.
It has to be something else that's like still accessible, or people are going to feel alienated again. Like, oh no, you're just like contriving this emotion for me. Right.
Yeah. It's about being authentic, you know, which is, you know, it took me a very long time to learn what that even meant. You know,
it's different for everyone, because you know what? Some people can put out a polished thing and I'm like, that is you. You shine that in everything you do anyhow. And that's great. They won the lottery in like the marketability and personality thing.
Like, this is just who you are.
Yeah. I can't do that though. I don't like people enough to to feign that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear you. But it's funny you bring that up, because me and my siblings were talking about that idea of like how we don't really like you know, we don't really like people that much, you know, like social interactions, stuff like that. My mom was like, how did I raise you to be like this? Like that none of you like social interactions, all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, it's just how it is, you know? It's overwhelming sometimes.
My mom gets confused with that too. She's a very like sociable person, and my sister is super sociable. Also,
older or younger?
Both younger. No, my mom is older than I am. My sister's
crazy,
younger.
Though. She is younger.
I have two siblings, and they're both younger. Is what I was thinking in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, my sister's younger, and she's like complete opposite of me.
Okay.
Super outgoing, works in business, like all of it. Just blonde, tall, like charming. I don't know.
I like how I've heard this before, but people are trying to like positively associate something. Blonde is often a word that is used first, as if that's better.
Well,
you know?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's like social connotations to
blonde. Being blonde and being hot or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and tall too. That's another one. Yeah.
My sister's beautiful.
I'm short and brown hair. Right. Okay, so what does it say about me? Dang it.
Just I gotta dye my hair. In the mud.
See me later with a completely bleached blonde hair and platform shoes on.
Got some frosted tips. Yo, get yourself a pair of platform shoes.
Really?
I got myself a pair like a year and a half ago.
I can't pull off platform shoes.
Yes,
I was thinking about overalls, but like...
Do that too. You get one pair of overalls, you're going to have 7 pairs. They're great. You can kick things. You don't have to pull them up. You don't have to pull anything down. They're just on. Yeah.
It's hard to find good overalls for guys, though. That's the real hard part.
Oh, I guess I didn't think about that.
You know, they don't really make them for guys unless you're a farmer.
Yeah, they haven't really expanded to that. I feel like I'm seeing a ton of them for women. I was just talking about overalls last night, actually, with my friend.
Hot topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like the variety of them, though. Like sometimes you want like the cool, sassy ones that make your butt look good or something, and some days you just want the baggy ones.
Those ones.
Right.
Yeah, the cool, sassy ones. That's how I'm feeling most of the time. So where can people find your music and find everything about you?
You were gonna say overalls.
So where can people find your overalls? That's a piece of merch you could whip up. Some overalls with like a Huff on the back or something. That'd be pretty sick.
Yo, well, I guess they've already got like Huff with 1 F. So
yeah, double F then. Different. Yeah, I'm your merch guy.
Cool.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm looking to tap into that. I gotta
give it to you when you leave. Seriously.
Really?
Yeah, we have podcast shirts. I'll give you one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I love free merch.
Yeah.
Hear that, guys? I love free merch.
Send it to my P.O. box.
Yeah, right?
But yeah, so where can people find your music and stuff?
So people can find my music on iTunes, Bandcamp, SoundCloud.
Just look up Amanda Huff.
Yeah, just look up Amanda Huff.
Double F, guys.
Yeah.
H-U-F-F.
2 Fs. H-U-F-F. Sometimes people do H-O-F-F. Every time I say it out loud, they're like
Hoff.
Excuse me? Yeah. Hoff. No. If you're feeling adventurous, I have like, it's not really secret, but it's kind of like a secret SoundCloud that I don't really advertise.
Found it. I really dug deep though. It's like tomato soup.
Yeah.
It's hard to find.
Tomato soup, but all the O's are zeros.
That makes it even harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a Stardew Valley farm right now that's Tomato Soup Farms.
Oh, what?
Stardew Valley.
What's Stardew Valley?
Oh.
I don't know what it is.
Oh, it's so exciting. It's just like this little like farming game.
Okay.
You're like these cute little pixel avatars and you
So
farm and you mine.
Is it kind of like Farmville?
Sort of. It's like, do you know what Harvest Moon is? Nah, it's okay.
Yeah. I need to brush up on my video
Farmville
game
would be
knowledge.
like a subsect of the farming video game genre thing.
Yeah.
But this one's, it's more immersive. It's not just grinding. It's
Yeah. I used to play World of Warcraft. That was like my game.
Nice.
And I don't play it anymore because I played it all day and all night and I didn't have a life.
I dated a guy once who told me that he would break up with me if I started playing World of Warcraft.
Dude, it's a legitimate argument because like have you played before?
No, I haven't played.
Don't even start. Just like seriously.
I looked into it and was like, that's a lot of money to invest if you want to be able to.
A lot of money and a lot of time.
Yeah.
It was just like I would come home and just play and I would never go out. And like it became like you've seen the South Park about World of Warcraft?
Yes, I did.
It became like that where it's just like you're just sitting around just playing all day. It's so addicting because it's so fun. Yeah.
Well, I've got to be careful with those sorts of games. I mean, the second day that I had Stardew Valley, I played for 14 hours straight.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was good because I had like just needed a social detox.
Right, and it's okay from time to time. It's just like if your life is that now, you know.
Right. The way that game is structured is you can play it in day increments, and those usually take about, like, you can save after every day, and that's about 20 minutes. So, like, if I want to play, I'll just do 1 day or 2 days or something, and I can factor in roughly how much time that'll be into my schedule, as opposed to, like, I gotta get to the next checkpoint, and that's 3 hours away.
Right.
You know.
Well, that's good. Well, yeah, stay away from World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Because it's a freaking time sucker. For sure. But thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
This is great.